Will you give me sugar? Wahala hala. Hello. It is April 1st, April Fools. Um, I moved to a new house in Carolina, in that's like the city near San Juan. I really like this space. Um, I haven't recorded one of these in a while, but I have a lot of work today. So I was like, let me just sit down, get some stuff off my mind, talk to myself before I get on with my day. I'm just not even going to look at myself. So I got here on the 13th, so it's been 17 days, and it has been a hard 17 days. I have had a really hard time since coming to Puerto Rico. We can just do like a breakdown. So I got here with Choksi and Mirage on the 13th. You know, we got a car. We did the whole thing. Now when I think about it, and then I'm pretty sure we caught dengue. I don't know if you. I've heard it dengue. I've heard dengue. I've heard. I don't know if I've heard dengue. Let's just see how it's supposed to be pronounced. I have a hunch it's dengue, but I would not be surprised if it's just dengue. How to pronounce dengue fever? Dengue?
Dengue fever.
Dengue fever? That's crazy. That sounds wrong. I've never heard dengue fever. Dengue? I've heard dengue, dengue. Dengue is crazy. There's no like common understanding of this how to pronounce dengue. Okay, so it got here with Murad and Choksi, and then we got dengue fever. It sounds so dumb. I like dengue. Dengue just sounds like more ill. Like you sound like I got dengue. That sounds like oh no, you're gonna die. You say I got dengue. It's like yeah, you sound sick, but you're not super sick. You'll probably be fine. Right? It's like it has the benefit of having a medication Bengay close to dengue. So we get sick. Choksi I think gets kind of sick first, and then me and Mirage go down hard. I go down super hard. There's a day where I like can't move. I can't really talk. I'm like deliriously feverish. I like can't even walk. I'm like out here just like shivering like this. And that's right after we went on a canoeing trip upstream, which was really difficult to do the bioluminescent stuff. And I'm like dying of a fever. And then I knock out that night, and then I knock out the whole next day. Like I'm gone. Like I've never slept the whole day. I do not wake up. I'm just asleep. And then the next day, I feel better. I'm just really tired, but at the very least, I'm not like sick anymore. And then we're just like resting. We like went out, got some smoothies, relaxed on the beach, and then the next day, Chokesy leaves. So then it's just me and Mirage, rest again. Then Mirage leaves. Then the next day, I sleep there. Then the next day, I go join Akash and all of them at their bachelor party. I'm still kind of sick, so I relax that day. Then the next 4 days are all that. Then after they're all gone, then I move to a new place and then I start settling in. There's a ton of mosquitoes, and then I pull my back super badly, and then my back hurts. And that's like as I'm like recovering from the illness. So now I'm like 95% from the illness, 70% from the back. And like throughout this, there's just this like mental kind of challenge of being really lonely. You're really I wouldn't even use the word unmotivated because I'm pretty motivated right now, but I'm just like really sad um, from like a sense of like meaninglessness. And so, yeah. So it's been a tough, whatever, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. It's like, whatever, almost 3 weeks, 18 days. I just booked another Airbnb for the 1st to the 8th, so I'm here at least for another week. If not for, I think I'll probably be here for 2 more weeks. Um, and then I'll fly back. I'd probably go to Houston, stay with the DT for a bit, and then go back home just because I don't want to do like that long flight, 10 hours. Just if I go to Houston, it's 4 hours. I can go stay with her for a bit, for a few days, 3, 4 days. Then from there, I'll fly back home. Um, I think that'll be nice. Um, so I have a lot of emails to send today. Oh, my back. Every time, so what I do is like I sit on a chair, and then the chair lands perfectly where my muscle is pulled. Then I just like sit back into it. Oh, and it like hurts right now, but ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. And then I lift up, and then I feel good for another like. Ooh, see, if I twist, ooh, that's the spot. Twist and falling into is crazy. Oh, oh, and then up slowly. Nice. I can maybe even twist more. Nice. Good job. Very good. That was very good. Wow. Oh, that hurts still. Ah, really? Damn, that's like. So that's their chair physical therapy. Oh, it feels really good. It just like it releases the amount of just pressure in my back, and I'm just like, ah. Oh. So, mm, so what this trip has been representing to me is like a sense of resilience. Of can I, without giving up, push through each one of these challenges without being like, ah, life is too hard. I want to go back home. Like, let's fight through this. Every single one. Okay, like take it day by day. I am not leaving Puerto Rico until I feel comfortable and I feel like I've overcome all my challenges. Like that's my like thing. I'm not leaving until I'm able to do that. And when I do that, I'll feel like I'm ready to go to the next part of my life. So in some ways, this trip has been feeling like shedding like a lot of my negative habits. I feel like I've just been like I've felt the consequences of my negative habits, be it poor sleep, be it, whatever the long list. So the first thing is I got super sick and I just got called to cut chicken and stop eating it. And so I've been eating a lot of fish and I eat chicken here and there just because it's so accessible and it's hard to, always have a vegetarian or fish option. And so, um, but I've cut down significantly on chicken. So it's not zero, but it's way less than before. And so now I'm just eating a lot of fish, a lot of salmon, a lot of shrimp. Um, and then I cut there's a lot of things that I just feel like I'm being more conscious of, so um, that's been kind of something I'm working through. um, it's interesting because there's a lot of cars moving around and I'll be recording a lot of podcasts, so I'm curious how that kind of influences some of this stuff. But yeah, it's 1:30. I have a full day of work today, but I'm starting pretty late. I mean, in theory, you should be starting these things around 7:30. You can start that tomorrow, where it's like an early full day. You're done with that essay you were working on about stealing, so I finished that. So now that's like out the way. So now I can kind of just focus in on. I have a whole bunch of things I need to do. But Puerto Rico's been really challenging. I think it's been a very reflective experience having to kind of face all these challenges alone. India was a lot more smooth in some ways. It's cool though. Yeah, I mean, this has been a challenging experience, but it's also, I guess, what I wanted. Like, I wanted a challenge to fight through, and I've been presented it. And yeah, this year is flying by fast. I feel like I was at home for a long time, so it's been nice to like leave that and be back in the world. And I felt like I was in like a stupor when I was back at home, and now that I'm back in the world, I'm like, oh my God, these last like 18 days have felt like 5 years, which is nice. I feel like that's how I know that's when I'm feeling like, okay, life is going good. Like every day feels like you can learn a lot from the world, and I feel like it's very important for me to learn. And like routine, I think is the biggest destructor of learning. Like you can't learn when you're experiencing the same thing on a day to day basis. It's just not. I don't think it's as effective, which is why you got to start reading books. Like books is another form of experience. Like, but you can also just be in the world. Like you don't need to read about you know Hinduism. Go like live in a ashram. Like don't read about the safari, go be in one. Like just see it for yourself. Like learn it. And the thing is, the idea that you need a lot of money to do these things, I don't think is true. But I think you need a lot of, like to do them, you actually need quite minimal money. Like to travel a lot, you don't. I don't think you need more than, I would say, if you can travel cheap, more than 5,000 a year. I think you can live off 5,000 a year in many countries, like quite effectively. And you can definitely live in India for that much. Especially if you're working, especially if you're like not just like doing nothing and you're actually like contributing to different communities or whatever, you need way less than 5,000. So if someone considers that a lot of money, then that's fair. But going to college, NYU $100,000, you can learn so much with $10,000 traveling for a year. That $100,000, so like I think, and then we can talk about the education aspect of just time and money. But I was thinking recently just about, as I was writing this stealing piece about what rebellion has meant to me, what my life looked like, a decade ago when I was at home and I had the routine of school. And even my life wasn't that routine. I had a lot of, a lot of moving parts. I was very like stimulated and engaged. But like, I feel that um, I feel that when I think about the amount of time that was spent on cheating, on doing all of these things, I'm like, that was so much wasted human time. Like, why go to school, cheat on a test? Who gains from that? The society doesn't gain from that. I don't gain from that. The school doesn't gain from that. Literally, nobody benefits from you wasting your time and cheating. You might as well just not take the test. Like, just fuck the test and just go do something else. Like, there's no point in cheating. Like, the only reason you would cheat is because people are mandating you to go through this process. If you're like, fuck the process, I don't give a fuck about your schooling system, I'm going to just like educate myself or however you want to, then you can just go and, if you don't want to take a test, don't take a test. As every human life is, most people get to choose. You get to choose what you do and what you don't do. To have that level of autonomy completely stripped away from you is problematic. Like, you can't be forced to take a test that you don't give a fuck about taking. Because what you're gonna do is you're just gonna cheat. There are very few people who are going to be forced to do something that they don't want to do and still try and learn from it. Like, that's a specific type of person. Either you're going to have a bunch of people who care, and the reason they care could be a different reason. You could have people who, Deepu, Deepu, can I call you in 5 minutes? Can I call you in 5 minutes? Okay. Um, you could have people who care for the aesthetic of academic excellence. You can have people who care because they want to learn. You can have people who care who want to go to a good college so they can brag, or go to a good college so they can get a good job. Whatever. I mean, the reason someone cares could be different. But there's a group of kids who care, and then there's a whole bunch of kids who don't give a fuck. And like, to make these kids go through the process of learning and have them cheat, and saw a picture of me sleeping in school, like, dude, that was years of my life that could have been spent doing anything else. If I was still learning, that's fine. I was not. So I could have been working at Foot Locker. I could have been doing a whole bunch of other stuff, been homeschooled on the side to just get whatever I need done, turn up with all my friends. The part where that could be isolating is everyone else will be, because everyone else will be going to the school system, they'll all be bitching about, like, oh, Miss Foster this, like, but Miss Foster is lit, but, like, Miss, what's her name, Angeliri this, whatever, and you'll just be like, I don't know who you're talking about at all. In that sense, it can be isolating. But let's say you play sports. Let's say, I mean, you can connect through something else, just not through talking about school. But like, how much energy and resources and things go into building the school, and upholding that whole system, and how much benefit comes out of it. It is not, I don't think, we are not getting enough bang for the buck. Like, not enough people are being educated enough. I think first, 6th grade is offering tons of utility. I think there's a lot of utility because that's when you're learning how to read, write, do basic arithmetic. Like, there is insane amount of utility, and I think everybody's learning at that period of time. I mean, everybody's reading, everyone's writing, everyone's doing that stuff. First to sixth, I think, is phenomenal. I think high school is like almost an entire waste of time. I would say the retention rates are low. I would say, like, the things that I think I gained best from are all the clubs that I did. I mean, the amount that I learned from doing DECA, the amount I learned from running for senator, from playing tennis, from doing all my volunteering. I learned a fuck ton from all of that. And when I may not be able to tell you directly what those things are, they exist in my brain. Going to the dances, going to prom, learning how to ask a girl out. All of these things have nothing to do with what's being done in a classroom. It has to do with learning how to organize. It has to do with learning how to compete, learning how to, like, court, learning all of that stuff. That is important. And you can do that without the prison of sitting in a classroom and listening to someone talk. Unless you want to learn, unless you care. You're like, I need to learn about covalent bonds. I'm about to teach a kid about covalent bonds. I don't know nothing about covalent bonds. Let's see how I'm gonna have to freestyle something on the spot. But how are you going to? Who cares? Unless it matters. So that's my TED talk today. But yeah, Puerto Rico, tough. I just wanted to, like, talk to talk, as I want to hear my own voice. But I love you. Good luck, cousin. Take better care of your body and love yourself.